Good afternoon.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? Teresa Anderson. I'm the Public Policy Director for California Academy of PAs. Thank you to both chairs, members, committee staff, and consultants. Really appreciate the time. I just want to go on the record saying that we have a really good, long-standing, positive working relationship with the board, and particularly appreciate engaging in the stakeholder process with them. One of the new committees they've created since the last sunset is the PA Education and Workforce Committee, and we really appreciate being able to work on that with them.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for your testimony, and for the nice comments. It's always good to hear. Very good. We've seen no further questions. Thank you very much for coming today and for the testimony. Looking forward to seeing you in 4 or 5 more years. Be great. Thank you. Now I'd like to invite our final panel this afternoon, our panel or review, and I think we should get a round of applause, or so they should, for sitting here all day.
Exactly.
That's probably the most important thing. So these are representatives from the Board of Podiatric Medicine. John Shaw, the board president, Christina Dixon, board member, and Jason Campbell, executive officer. So please come forward. Great.
Good. Do you need water or coffee or anything?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. And then we'll do it all over again on Monday. And the following Monday, 2 new Mondays after that.
There's a lot of them.
Now, this is wonderful. It's a great opportunity to really understand, and the Sunset Review is such a smart idea, whoever thought of it, to really evaluate and really see where we're missing something and where we should move forward and just give everyone the opportunity to shine. And that's very good. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to appear before the committee today. We look forward to sharing our board's effectiveness and importance to the state of California and its consumers. I am Dr. John Shaw, current president of the Board of Podiatric Medicine. With me are Ms. Christina Dixon, immediate past president, and our current executive officer, Jason Campbell. We are pleased to testify about much of our enforcement and licensing programs for the state for the sake of consumer protection. Thank you again. If there's no further questions at this time.
Close, but no.
Nothing quite yet. Mr. Campbell will give us a brief overview of the board.
Great, thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Chairs Hill and Bonilla, distinguished members of the committee and committee staff. I'm pleased to be here today to give a brief overview of the Board of Podiatric Medicine. Of course, I am Jason Campbell. I'm the executive officer for the Board of Podiatric Medicine. I have served in that capacity since July 1st, 2014. Toward that end, the Board of Podiatric Medicine is a small unit of the Medical Board of California that licenses roughly 2,000 doctors of podiatric medicine in the state. We have 5 immediate staff, and the board consists of 7 board members, that is 4 professional members and 3 public members. The functions of the board are licensing and discipline of doctors of podiatric medicine under the same laws that apply to medical doctors in the state of California. Specifically, our mandates, as contained in the statute, require us to evaluate applicants for qualifications and to determine their eligibility for licensure. Following that, we make recommendations to the Medical Board of California for licensure of doctors of podiatric medicine. We also adopt and administer regulations concerning the practice of podiatric medicine, conduct audits of the licensee population for compliance with the continuing medical education units and continuing competency requirements as set by the board, and approve state residencies in podiatric medicine. Our biannual renewal fee is currently $900, and it is one of the highest in the state. As a special fund agency that does not rely on general funds, our budget is approximately $1 million annually. DPMs, or Doctors of Podiatric Medicine, again, are licensed under the Medical Practice Act, and they provide medical and surgical services to the foot, ankle, and related structures governing their function. They are highly specialized doctors and physicians with unmatched training and education in diagnosing and treating podiatric conditions affecting the lower extremity. DPM predecessors were licensed by the medical board since the 1800s. Leaders of the profession's early development at that time that included medical doctors saw chiropodists filling an important niche ignored by the organized medicine professionals. Accordingly, the Chiropody Examining Committee became a unit of the medical board in 1957. Shrewd fiscal management over the years has permitted the Board of Podiatric Medicine to operate just below its total amount of operational revenues generated annually. We rely on the services that we pay for from the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Attorney General, and the Medical Board of California. We utilize the Medical Board's central complaint units, discipline coordination units, license verification unit, and also the fictitious name permit department. To ensure continued efficient operations, services of the Department of Consumer Affairs are also utilized. These include the Communications Division that are composed of the Public Affairs Department and the Publications Design and Editing. As well as using Administration and Information Services, we use Legal Affairs from the Department of Consumer Affairs, Solid Training Services, Business Services Offices for contracts, and also Human Resources. And finally, the Office of Information Services for website and maintenance needs, our online website development, and the Health Quality Investigation Unit within the Department of Investigation within DCA. Recent accomplishments for the Board of Podiatric Medicine include adopting a brand new strategic plan late 2014. It is a rather ambitious plan with enhanced goals and objectives for public education and outreach, and one that we are quite excited about. Toward that end, we are recently almost near to completing our website redevelopment, which is going to provide enhanced user services and is in line with current state best practices. In conjunction with that, when we complete the big rollout with a brand new logo and rebranding, we will be getting on social media and using those outlets for continued outreach as well. In addition to those, we're also on schedule to re-inaugurate the new Board of Podiatric Medicine newsletter late in this quarter. So those are a few of the recent accomplishments. This basically concludes my brief overview. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before committee today. I will now turn over the floor to Ms. Dixon and Dr. Cha to finish our final remarks.
Great, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good afternoon, Chair Bonilla and Chair Hill. My name is Christina Dixon, and I'm a board member. I serve as a public member. I've been on the board since February of 2010, so that's 6 years, and the immediate past president. I'm here to speak on behalf of the board on issues number 1 related to the board service fees and issue number 7, breeze costs. And then I'll turn it over to Dr. Cha for the other issues.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon.
So for the board service fees, BPM will be pleased to complete and submit the committee's fee bill worksheet to demonstrate the level of need for the proposed service fee increase. BPM itself conducted a professional fee study audit to determine if the fees that we currently have were properly aligned and sufficient to recover the actual cost of our BPM programs. The study concluded that the current fee schedule did not. It was not sufficient to cover the costs related to the services that we provide. The study supported the previous DCA budget office recommendation, which concluded the same thing. Increasing the service fees would add an additional $11,000 to the agency's budget, which would help us to recoup the costs that we actually spend to provide those services. It would also correct a built-in structural deficit that was found based on the current fees that were set 30 years ago. So we're just looking to bring it up to the current, factoring in the cost of living increases that have happened over the last 30 years. The modest increase would also alleviate foreseeable pressure when accounting for increased future operating costs that include the increased costs to cover the breeze system. We're looking at an increase that's going from the budgeted projection of $12,000 per year to now $28,000 for this current fiscal year. The anticipated increases due to the Attorney General enforcement costs. This cost is projected to increase by $6,000 annually. And a projected retirement rate that slightly exceeds the number of incoming licensees over the next 5 years. So what we've determined is that the number of licensees that are coming in will not cover those that are going out due to retirement. A service fee increase would keep BPM's fund healthy without the need to raise our current fee, which is $900. So as Jason indicated, our renewal fee is the highest of most, but our licensed are fine paying that fee, and they feel like it's worth the services that they get in return. So that concludes our comments on the board service fees.
Maybe I could ask a question on the fees. It looks like in the fees, $77 of your license fee goes to the pro rata charges from DCA. Do you feel that's a reasonable amount? Are you getting your money's worth?
Well,
I could certainly speak to that, absolutely.
I'm sure you can.
I'd be happy to address that question. We've been very pleased with the services the Department of Consumer Affairs has offered us. The Board of Podiatric Medicine is a very small staff, including myself. It's 4 additional individuals. We wear many, many hats. So speaking generally, the services that DCA provides and that we pay for allows us to stretch our reach beyond our normal means. And so we do hear that there are complaints among other boards, but certainly from our perspective, we do feel that we're getting a proper bang for the buck.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Appreciate that.
and I'll add to that. Jason mentioned that we just went through our strategic planning session, and the support that we received from DCA to complete that process was awesome. I mean, we all flew up for a day, and they sat there with us and helped us walk it through, and I think it was a very beneficial experience. And from that experience, we've reached out, and Jason mentioned the website redesign. So I think as a board, we're really looking to make the best of that cost and utilize as much of the services that they provide as we possibly can. And so I'm very pleased with what we've been able to
Great.
get from them so far.
Thank you. The Director of Consumer Affairs should be here to hear this.
Good, most certainly.
I'm sure he's watching, but thank you for that. So moving on to the Breeze system,
Then I'll
thank
go
you.
on to issue number 7, the Breeze costs. So BPM successfully participated and transitioned to DCA's Breeze online database for licensing and enforcement functions in 2013. The successful adoption and migration to Breeze has offered our consumers and licensees improved data quality, technology, and customer service. And we're definitely thankful for that. Up to fiscal years 13-14 and 14-15, the annual Breeze costs budgeted were $12,000 and $14,000 respectively. Previous DCA budget projections dating back to 2012 estimated the annual cost to BPM to be about $12,000 annually. However, with DCA's vendor contract difficulties in the late 2014 fiscal year, the budget has now increased to $26,000 for last fiscal year, and then it's projected for this fiscal year, and it's projected to be up to $28,000 for the 16-17 fiscal year. So that's quite a jump for our board. This does not include a one-time $3,000 costs to cover contractual penalty based on all boards for contractual renegotiation. So they kind of push that cost over to the boards. So in addition to the increase of the $12,000, it's an additional $3,000. So we are, however, very pleased with the service that we've received from Breeze so far. We think that it definitely is an enhancement to the board and the services that are being provided. But the long-term effect is that with typically BPM sends back $29,000 annually to the fund condition. So with the increase of $12,000, that will decrease the amount that we give back at $17,000. So it just impacts us going over the long term with our fund condition. So that concludes my remarks on Breeze.
Questions? Very good.
Okay, we're going to move on to issue number 3, which is a postgraduate education limit. Right now, the Board of Podiatric Medicine recommends eliminating the 8-year cap on postgraduate training contained in Section 2475. At this point, all California podiatric residencies are 3 years. Most go on to practice after the 3 years. However, some do some fellowships or additional residency training. No one has, to our knowledge, reached the 8-year cap or come close to the 8-year cap. We feel the education and training are lifelong processes for all physicians. Medical education is the foundation of high-quality healthcare. California DPM limitation is the only statutory postgraduate cap anywhere in the country for any profession. We're sending the wrong message of stop after 8 years. You must stop any research you may be doing as far as a new surgical technique, a possible new breakthrough in diabetic foot wound healing, which could hurt the consumers by limiting that medical research. No other profession is subject to such a limitation to excel and to innovate. The Board of Podiatric Medicine is one of the only physician licensing boards to require an affirmative demonstration of continuing competence, not just continuing medical education units, but some of the continuing competence mandates are being on a staff of an active hospital, being board certified, having graduated from residency in the last 10 years. So this is something that our board has instigated. It's been very effective. We've seen the number of complaints decrease by approximately 50% in the past 15 years. A postgraduate residency, like I said, is one pathway for gaining the continuing competence. So removing the pathway would be a potential harm to the public. Our number of residency and fellowships are limited. It's unlikely that a postgraduate candidate could keep getting residency programs over new residency programs, over new licensees. They are limited and arguably pay poorly, so it's not really practical that someone's going to continue to seek residencies or fellowships beyond the 8-year cap. There was an issue that perhaps somebody may want to do a plastic surgery rotation for, let's say, 10 years and become a plastic surgeon. That is not the case. Our profession, we are limited to the foot and ankle and anything that attaches to the foot and ankle. We will not be able to get any licenses to do any plastic surgery procedures beyond the foot and ankle. So that logic is completely refuted. That concludes my presentation on the postgraduate education limit. Is there any questions?
Seeing none? No, thank you.
Okay. Next, I'll move on to issue number 5, the military experience equivalency. The board recognizes the invaluable contributions made by our military personnel, although we have yet to be presented with the case of military educational equivalency. We are complying with BPC Code 35 requiring the consideration of military experience. A little background, currently there is no military medical school that offers a podiatric medical curriculum. We have compiled a list of podiatric educational requirements for licensures, such requirements such as infectious disease, pharmacology, pediatrics, medical ethics. We have reached out to the California Military Department to see if their curriculum may satisfy some of these requirements. The board will consider the equivalency with the assistance of CPME, which is the Council of Podiatric Medical Education. They are the ones that accredits our schools and our residency programs, so we want to make sure we have their backing. CPME has done an excellent job of monitoring the residency program requirements. And we definitely want to get their backing of any acceptance of equivalency. However, we do not want to see the equivalency being substandard and potentially hurting the public by accepting equivalencies that are just not a standard to the community of care. The board is open to possibly accept the military education with CPME. We understand that some of the military education may not be equivalent, and we do not want to see harm to the public. Finally, the Board of Podiatric Medicine continues its research in this area and has reached out to the California Military Department for a meeting to evaluate military education and training for Board of Podiatric Medicine equivalency. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Good, thank you very much. Questions? See none. I've got one that in looking at the profession, there seems to be fewer and fewer podiatrists practicing or in the profession. I'm just trying to figure out, why do you see that? Why is that? Are there things that you can do? Are they moving to other professions? Are they going to different professions rather than going into podiatric medicine? And are there things that you're doing, or is the board, to try and encourage the field and more professionals to go into the field?
Absolutely. We're making an effort Jason, do you want to expound on that?
Sure, absolutely. That's a two-part question, Chair Hill. I'm certainly more than happy to answer that.
Thank you.
The problem nationally exists with podiatric medicine as a whole. There's a shortage of residency programs right now. That combined with the fact that each year the graduating classes seem to be getting smaller and smaller. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, there was on average of 550 students graduating annually, and now that's been reduced by about 100 annually as well. You take the reduced number of graduates nationally, and then you combine that with the shortage of residency programs, you're finding that there's some students that have graduated that are not able to get a residency programs. To the tune of the last time that I looked at this data in 2012, 2013, as published by the accreditation agencies, we found that 16% of the total graduating classes were not able to get a residency program, and such that they had to recycle or some possibly even drop out. On a whole, California is getting the lion's share of graduates nationally, so that bodes well for us as a board in order to continue the profession in the state. Things that we'd like to do in the future, in terms of our strategic plan, we're certainly taking on a very ambitious public outreach effort. Part and parcel of that is to reach out to the schools nationally to show them some of the benefits of practicing in California and some of the great things that podiatric medicine professionals can do here in the state, which they cannot do in other states. We're somewhat on the cutting edge of that profession, and certainly the association has done a lot of work in terms of some of the things that they're exploring for the future that will make this state very attractive for students in the future. So that's what we're looking at. It is a national problem, and it's something that many minds in many different states are looking at, and not just ourselves. But I hope that addresses the question. Senator.
Yeah, no, it did. Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear that you're looking into it and trying to resolve it and find some solutions for it. Yeah.
I was just going to add that we're also looking at ways that, as you know, especially me as a public member in my position, that I can help, the next generation to learn more about the field of podiatry. I think our newsletter, our website, being on social media, just getting it out there to the young people, because a lot of them may not know what the field entails. And I know that there's a lot of young people that are interested in medicine. So I think we do have plans. We actually just talked about this on Friday at our board meeting about coming up with a strategic plan to help the profession to be able to expand and bring in, a line of future podiatrists into the field.
Very good.
In addition to that, I just want to comment that our profession has grown, that we have been contributing more to healthcare, particularly in the field of saving diabetic limbs. And because of the increased respect that we're getting, I think it's going to be easier to recruit new members in the future.
Very good. One final question, have you explored different ways to get consumer feedback, patient feedback? It seems that you have a very small response rate that becoming on the customer satisfaction surveys that you have. Have you looked at perhaps other ways of?
Yes, we are looking at that, Senator Hill. Again, getting on social media, the Twitter accounts, the Facebooks, this is all a part of our plan to really get the message out about the Board of Podiatric Medicine and podiatric medicine in general. Again, to dovetail with Board Member Dixon's comments, just educating consumers about diabetes. It's an issue that faces many Californians today, that DPMs are on the cutting edge of treating in order to be able to save limbs. We think that engendering that kind of message will raise the profile of podiatric medicine and certainly start getting people to talk at least.
But I'm looking at more at the consumer response onto the surveys that you have that have gone out, and to the feedback that you're getting on the customer satisfaction surveys that you're sending out to find out how people in the profession are doing, and the response rate there is, I think, fairly low.
Fairly low, absolutely. We don't have a lot of complaints to begin with, Senator Hill. We're at sub 130 complaints annually. So given the response rate statistically for the people that are inclined to send something back, it's at less than 1%. And for 130.
And with only 2,000 doctors to
Right.
to have in the practice anyway, so it makes a difference.
I've continually asked, and they just don't have the information because they don't get it. And if they do get it, it's just one, and they just toss it aside. I think the cutoff is 5 or 4, so I don't have anything to even look at.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is a public comment. Anyone from the public who would like to share their thoughts today on the department? No? Hearing no one, so very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for coming today.
That's it. I guess that concludes this. Oh,
Is there more?
nothing.
I think they want to comment.
Oh, so support? Oh, come on. That's great. Love to hear comments.
Thanks, Jody.
Yeah. A little slow, Jody, but other than that, you're doing fine.
I've only been here since 9 a.m.
Somewhere.
Yeah, with Mr. Hill, yes.
Hi there. I'm Ami Sheth. I'm the president of the California Podiatric Medical Association. And thank you for accepting my little slow walk up here.
That's all right. Thank you for coming.
I've been in practice for about 10 years now, and this is the only board I know, Board of Podiatric Medicine. And one of the things that has always been emphasized to me was the safety of the public. I mean, that's why you get into medicine, right? You want to help people. You want to protect them from the evils of disease and all that. But the health and safety and welfare to the public is paramount as doctors, as providers. That's what we're looked at. And, the Board of Podiatric Medicine, I feel, is instrumental in that. And I just would appreciate and would like the support for its continuation. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the comments. Appreciate it.
Hi, and excuse me, I'm John Holtman. I'm Executive Director of the State Association.
Yes.
I practiced podiatric medicine and surgery at UCLA Medical Center for 25 years. My group's still there, and when you look at the progress of the profession over that time, the year I was president, it was interesting because the board had an omnibus bill that was going to take the cap from 2 years to 4 years. Because at the time we were coming out with 3-year programs and they didn't have a license to train in that third year. And there was actually opposition initially to that. It was lifted to 4 years, and then somewhere along the line it went to 8 years. And obviously when it's at 8 years, I would certainly agree with the comments here. That's the same as why have a limitation, because it's more that would need to go. And the comment about recruiting, we're involved in that nationally. As you know, California, like the California Medical Association, our association, we really lead all the other associations around the country. So what happens here tends to go eastward, and actually we're traveling to DC next week. We'll be meeting with Congress people, with our national association, and recruitment's a big issue. I mean, I think like they mentioned 20 applicants per PA seat versus our applications have been dropping, and one of the issues is that our training has expanded from 4 years when I graduated, didn't need a residency, where you're now looking at a 7-year, intensive program, and plus a fear of what if I don't get a residency, as opposed to becoming a PA or something else. It's a very great profession, but you can do it in fewer years and not accumulate the debt and these other issues. So we're doing a lot of work with our association. But as long as I've been a practicing podiatric physician, the licensing board, we've been incredibly proud of, because I remember meeting actually with Jim Conran when he was the head of Consumer Affairs, and they held it up as the exemplary board, the example of how boards should run. We keep hearing that. We're supportive, and it's in our interests, in our patients' interests, that there is strong enforcement, so we really support their continuation. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you again, too. Thanks for coming today. So. Well, that's wonderful. Anyone else care to share in the good news and the excitement of the board? Great. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you so much for the testimony today and everything that you have. So, would you like to make some closing comments today?
Well, I think we had a really interesting day, a lot of focus on some of the big picture issues, and then the very specifics and things that make each one of these boards and bureaus work. Thank you very much, Senator Hill. And for our staff, again, want to thank everyone who prepared reports and analysis and recommendations. And to the boards and bureaus themselves, we know there's a lot of work that goes in on their behalf to respond to the sunset process. And also, of course, a thank you to DCA and Awad Kadani himself for the work he's doing also. So we'll end with a big thank you and a lot of appreciation for the good work. And as I said, we're just launching a new year here. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. And I just wanted to add as well, what a great day this was, and to thank the consultants and the staff of both houses. This is an amazing amount of work. When you think of the detail, when you've seen the submittals that come in from each board and each bureau and how they go through them, analyze them, come up with the right questions to ask them, and the issues of concern that we have. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal job, and you're making this a much better state, and certainly making the Department of Consumer Affairs and the consumer protection aspect, which is why we're all here and what we're doing this for. You're making it work, and you're making it a success in California. So thank you there. No, thank you very much, Catherine. It really is an amazing job with the staff and the consultants doing these two committees. So thank you for all of them. Thank you to DCA and to everyone who testified today in the commission. So we will see you in a week, and this hearing is adjourned. Thank you very much.